when I was there in Iraq, like I had to travel from Baghdad to the embassy,
Okay.
at least once a week, to deliver mail and all of that stuff. So I saw a lot on that 45-minute trip back and forth. Like, it was at 21 years old. It was the most terrifying parts of my life every single week, having to do that. Like, and then you're just seeing stuff and hearing all this stuff. I mean, and then like every time you go, not every time, but there's time when you go out and you're on alert the whole time, and you don't ever come back down from being on alert, like ever. So up to this day, when I'm driving, I'm like alert
all the time.
I see a box in the road, I'm freaking out. Like,
it's crazy because I feel you 100% right now, because we were driving last week and there was this minivan and the back left was sitting low, right? And so I went to Afghanistan, so the war is a little bit different. So we were super IED heavy, and so I always know those kinds of things. And while that's going off, my son's toy starts beeping in the back. So I'm like, find it. She finally finds it. She starts giggling. And I was like, why are you? I snap.
Yeah.
I feel so bad, but I snap.
Yeah.
And I was like, why are you laughing? Well, because I was scared. I didn't know what it was. But then I found out it was a toy, so it's funny. And I was like, what you were worried about for like 2 seconds is like all the time, right? So do you still feel super tense?
Absolutely. So right now,
it's been a decade.
And it affects me up to this day. Right now, the biggest thing that affects me, I won't say the biggest thing, the most recent thing that affects me was because I just started, this is my 3rd year teaching. Fire alarms, fire drills, loud banging of the lockers, like when they're closing the locker doors.
I hate it.
Last week we had a fire drill. Freaked out.
So can I ask, and if you're okay with sharing this, so what are your coping mechanisms now? And I ask because I'm curious, because I'm going through a similar thing.
Yes.
And I'm trying to find ways to cope, especially now that I have my son.
So I'll give you, last school year, I had back-to-back panic attacks because I was on, that morning of that day, there was a 5th grader, behavioral issues, and he didn't get his way. So we were in the auditorium at the time practicing for the Christmas show because it was last Christmas. Okay. He walked to the side where there's stacks of chairs.
Oh no.
On the road, and he just climbed up on the chairs and started banging them down on the floor.
I'm getting tense to think about it.
Just banging them down. And I knew what was happening, so I thought I was okay, right? But it didn't stop. And so after class was over, I walked, because he was 5th grade, so there was 4th grade coming in my room already. So when I walked down the hall to my room, I felt it. Like I felt my arms tingling. I felt my heart beating. So I was trying to breathe, trying to think of something else. So I walked into the room and I immediately told the teacher, I'm about to have an attack. I need you to just stay here for a minute, please.
That's good.
And so I told the music teacher, and he's also a prior military, so he understood. So I walked outside. Yeah. Walked down the side of the building, was just breathing. And on my phone, my thing is like ocean waves. I'm from the island, so ocean waves calm me down. So I was listening to the ocean waves on my phone, and it was helping me, right? Walked back in the building, saw the music teacher standing at my door. He saw I had tears in I was crying.
I believe it.
I was crying. And I thought I was okay. I was like, okay, I'm good. I'm good to come back in now. But he knew that I wasn't, because I was still like this, literally still. I'm just reliving it. It's just,
I'm getting tense to think about it.
Just relive it. So he was like, you can just go back out. I got you. Just go back out. I said, I'm okay. I think I'm okay. And so I went back out. And then the second time I came back in again, I said, okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
But there's this heaviness on my chest.
Yeah.
I'm trying to avoid it. Okay. So I went into the room. I had the projector up because I knew I couldn't teach, so I needed to find a way to just play something so I could calm down. So I put the projector up. And as I was putting the projector up, there goes the fire alarm. Ugh. And I literally started screaming. I crouched down my back was against the wall. I crouched down and I started shaking. And the students, they were like, what's wrong? The fourth grade teacher came back in. I guess she kind of knew. So she came back in and she told me, just stay right here. She took them out my back door. After that, I grabbed my phone and I texted the principal and I told him what's happening to me right now.
Yeah.
And so I walked. The alarm was still going off. I'm shaking. I'm crying. I walked out the back door. I waited for them to leave because I didn't want them to see me like that.
Yeah.
So I walked out the back door and I crouched down against the side wall and I looked up and I saw the principal running from the back building, running towards my classroom. So he already knew what was, I'm getting chills. He already knew what was happening. He was coming to get me. So he came, he got me. I remember putting my arm over him and he was literally walking me back inside the building. We went into the counselor's office. Everybody's out the building, but we went into the counselor's office and he closed the door and I put back on the waves and I was just back and forth, listening, trying to breathe. So did I talk about, I think that was 2, right? Did I say the 2? Yeah, that was the 2. So that was the 2 back-to-back attacks. After about an hour, which seemed like the whole half a day. Okay.
You're exhausted too.
Yes. So after about an hour went by, or maybe it was like 15. Actually, it wasn't an hour. It was like 15 minutes because it's a fire alarm. But it felt like an hour.
Sure.
He came back in and we talked a little bit. He asked me, am I good? Because he was sending me home. I couldn't. So he asked me, am I good to go home, to drive home? I said, yeah. And so I drove home and I just crawled up in my bed and I stayed in my bed the whole day. Yeah. And then the next day afterwards, I did not want to even get out of the bed. It was so
Why is that?
Emotionally and physically draining. I was scared to go back into the school and it happened again because the student he's a student there. So I was afraid to go back into the school. Yeah. I was just afraid of being in that environment again because it's a horrible experience to go through. And with me being in the school, it happens so often. Any little thing, there's somebody that bang on the locker. Well, my door, my room, the lockers are attached to my room.
Yeah.
So I hear it
all the time.
I freak out. Balloons?
The worst. I can't do it.
I
purposely avoid some parties.
Yes.
Because of it.
Yes.
And my wife is so good about it because she's balloons and because we're good about staying up and clean up. Mm-hmm. She always goes, hey, you should leave right now because we're gonna do the balloons. Mm-hmm. Or she'll tell like the host like, hey, we can't pop these right now. You know?
Yes, that's so great.
Yeah, I'm so thankful for her because I didn't know what it was before too. The one that got me the worst was in a locker. I was at a dance studio and it was the gym mats.
Oh, and it falls.
The gym mat fell down, hit the thing, and I think it was one of my first episodes, and I didn't know what it was, and I did the thing you did, and I went and I found a dark corner in another room, started scrolling out and started doing this. I had never done that in my life.
Never.
Ever. I didn't do it on deployment, and this was probably almost a year after deployment. So
Exactly.
I thought I was okay.
You thought you were good.
I thought I was okay.
Exactly.
And that happened, and I remember my buddy coming to me like, hey, are you okay? Being super sweet, and I just being like, I don't know. And even at that point, I didn't associate it with my time in the military.
No.
I just thought it caught me off guard.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
Did you have PTSD symptoms right away?
No.
That's what's crazy to me, and why I appreciate you telling me this.
Exactly.
So when did it start manifesting?
When it started, the balloons thing started when I started working at Jamboree. Jamboree, playing music as a music teacher before I became an official public school teacher. And so Jamboree on the weekends, I would facilitate the birthday parties. Right? And so I'm cool. Like, we're popping.
You have no idea.
At the end, we always like pop the balloons. But I noticed like every birthday party would become more and more.
I think that's what it was.
Annoyance. Like something is happening here. And it just escalated to the point where I just could not do the balloons anymore. I would just freak out. And so they knew that when it was time to pop the balloons, we either tell the parents to leave with them, or my assistant would have me go out.
Yes.
And then she would pop them.
Yeah.
But it just came out of nowhere.
It's so weird.
It really came out of nowhere. And
I thought I was the only one. I'm so glad you're sharing that. Thank
you. You're not.
Yeah.
And for me, I always question myself, like, am I mentally okay? Because how is it that one day I could be fine with balloons, and now it just escalates to the point where I'm telling myself that I cannot be around balloons anymore? Is that me just going crazy? Like, am I in my own head? How do I get out of my head and be okay with it?
And as a grown man.
And as a grown, yes.
That's a tough part, right? That's the ego of a man going,
yeah,
I'm helping out at a children's birthday party. And because I had the same thing. I feel that 100%. So, can I ask you this? Do you feel, this my conversation might be just for me, to be honest.
That's fine.
So, let's talk balloons for a second, right? Is it every time you hear a balloon, or is it sometimes worse than others?
It's to the point now where, so the last time I heard balloons popped was last year after we had a end of the school year party, and and the principal, actually it may have, I'll tell you of another instance. But so the principal told everybody it's okay to pop the balloons, and they pop, 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 like gunshots, pop, 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 and I just ran out of there. I literally dropped everything and I ran out of there.
I do the same thing.
So fast.
I would do the same thing.
Like, it was crazy. And I texted him afterwards and I told him, like, you may not realize it and it's not your fault, but when you told blah, 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 this is what happened to me. So please be mindful of that. Yeah. So there was that. Prior to that, so this was the end of the school year. Yeah. At the beginning of the school year, we have what's called in-service, where it's our teacher training in the summer, right before the kids come back. And we were at a location in the Midtown area at a school there. Yeah. And first thing happened, I was eating lunch. It was a sandwich that they gave us. I was outside, right outside my car, and a truck backfired. I was okay.
I was okay the first time I heard that too.
Yeah.
First couple times. But every once in a while.
Right.
Every once in a while, it'll sound, because you can kind of tell the difference. Mm-hmm. But every once in a while, if I wasn't ready, it takes me a second to register.
Right. And so I thought I was okay. Okay, it's a truck backfire. I saw it was a truck. I'm okay. I told myself I'm okay. Fine. It's time to go back inside now. And we went through the second half. We had about 30, 45 minutes left. But we had an exercise. We were tossing balloons in the air, and the person would catch it, and we had to keep it off the ground. Okay. Fine. But now you tell everybody to pop the balloons afterwards. Yeah. So now I'm already triggered from the car backfire. And
I think that's something I didn't realize is the triggers add up, and they stay there until
even though you think you're fine. Exactly. And so once that happened, they're popping the balloons. I remember it's a long table, teachers on that side, teachers on this side. The art teacher, or former art teacher, she was right here. She already knew what was happening to me. She knows. Yeah. Because we're a team, an ancillary team. Good. So she knows the enrichment team. So I started doing this.
Oh, man,
telling myself when I'm shaking, and I'm like, telling myself it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay.
Yeah, physically, like
okay.
verbally, because you want to hear something.
Verbally,
you need to hear something else.
Now with a row of teachers watching this teacher doing this and yelling, "It's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay." And so, as I'm saying, "It's okay, it's okay, it's okay," the tears are coming down my face.
I get it.
They're coming down my face. And she saw me and she whispered in my ears, "Go to the restroom. I got you. Go to the restroom."
Is that a nice feeling when she says that? Or is that like, let me just do this for a second?
I don't even know.
Yeah.
Like, and of course, after it's over, I'm appreciative of her. But in that moment, I don't know. I guess in that moment, I'm just stuck here.
Yeah.
Not realizing how loud I am, maybe, or how much I'm shaking.
Yeah. That's one of the worst.
Maybe. Parts. Yeah. And so she told me, so I get up and I walk to the restroom. I go in there, I go in a stall, and I'm sitting on the toilet, calming myself down. After I think I'm calm, then I go to the sink and I'm washing my eye out, washing my face, cold water, all of that stuff. Yeah. And I'm walking back to the hallway, but I'm walking back and I'm swinging my arms, trying to calm down, swinging my arms.
You do that too? I do that subconsciously around those times. I think it's to release the energy.
Yeah. Is
that what that is?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe, but it's something with, because when an attack is happening, like all of this vibrates.
I feel like I'm on too much pre-workout.
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
My fingers.
Yeah, everything is tingling. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Really? This is.
Yeah, I get it. It's.
Wow.
Yeah. Can I share for a second?
Yes, please. Because I'm like, I thought I was alone. No, I'm not alone. But
this is why
I've never shared my experience.
Thank you for sharing this with me and for my son who's going to watch this one day, because he needs to know my most recent one, which was my worst one, I feel like, was July 4th this year.
I saw your picture in the closet.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, I know.
I was really hesitant to do that because I'm so fresh and learning about my own PTSD, and owning it, and also feeling guilty for having it, and all those things. And I still struggle very much so right now of wanting to be what I think a man should be, and having moments of rocking and thinking to myself, I look like a 5-year-old right now. It's hard for me to do that and accept it and not feel shame or embarrassed while dealing with my episode. So anyway, our old neighborhood, bless them, they're very close. They play outside. And when I got home from work that day, the fireworks were going off 6, 7 o'clock.
Yeah,
this is during COVID.
They start early.
and I got a Vietnamese family next to me, and I got a Mexican family on the other side. And so it's a party.
Yeah,
they are going, and bless them. And these aren't like little firecrackers. These are
they were the loud ones. I remember.
Oh my gosh! I run inside. I'm like, I'm okay. And I start pacing the house.
Oh.
And my wife goes, "Get in the car." So we drive to my parents who live in Sugar Land. And the whole time, I'm like, I'm in the car. I'm doing this. I'm like doing the same thing. The car in my ears. Like, I'm like, I might have been screaming to myself. I don't know.
You don't.
Because I don't want to hear them. I need to hear me. I need to hear something else. I'm like, whatever. In the car rocking. And I'm also like hiding underneath the door because I don't want my neighbors to see.
Oh my gosh.
And my neighbor's a cop, I think, right? And so I think he might get it, but it's just, we don't have that relationship. I don't know. And I also don't want to ruin their fun.
Exactly.
That's the worst part. Like, I don't want to ruin their fun because I'm going through
always self-blame. Always.
I'm working on that right now.
Yeah.
So I go to my parents' house and I just go straight upstairs. I text my mom like, hey, I need to come. I'm thinking this is happening right now. They know this. And my dad, who is in the military, been deployed a couple of times. We don't really talk about it, but he knows I've had some things going on. And I'm getting it right now. And when I walked in, I was like, I didn't even say hi. I went straight up, and I said, "Take the baby, who's probably a year at that point. You sleep over there. I'm sleeping in the closet because I'll do this. I won't be able to sleep. I'm rocking right now, and I can't stop. I'm scared he's gonna come by me, and I'm gonna push him or."
Yeah.
There was a moment she asked me something, and I snapped verbally at her, and I feel like such a shitty husband when that happens, I hate to say that now. And I was like, I would hate for that to be his first memory.
Right.
Right? Oh man, like even right now I'm like getting hated. So it's just like those things. I just spent all night in there listening. And so you listen to Ocean Waves. I listen to like 90s R&B music.
Oh.
Right? Like boy band stuff. I'm just like,
yeah.
Because I'm like trying to sing in my head.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And you sing like, I'm trying to get these endorphins back.
Yes.
And I spend there all night. And in the morning, you know, my son's sleeping. I come out and it's almost like it never happens. And I think that's one of the things I also want to ask you about is when you have an episode that strong, how you said the next day it's so tough to get out of bed.
Yeah.
How do you, and I ask this from a place of ego, right? How do you go back to school and look at your coworkers? Is it appropriate for me to ask that?
No, it is absolutely. I don't.
Because I say that as
because I had
my ego.
Yeah, I had to figure out because remember I did it in front of my class, so now I had to figure out how do I approach these students again.
There's a power dynamic in class, right? Or respect dynamic.
What I did actually helped me.
Tell me more.
So I went into the room and I basically had a discussion about what happened.
You talked about it.
I talked about it. I told them why. I know. I told them why it would happen. But you know what? We don't give kids a lot of credit, though. Kids are really understanding.
Yeah.
And they're very comforting. So I told them what's happening. I explained to them why it happened.
Yeah.
And they literally loved on me. Like they literally helped me.
Makes me want to cry right now.
Yeah, yeah, and that's why I love where I'm at because, and I love teaching because they are affecting my life as much as I am, and influencing my life as much as I am them.
I love that.
So that morning when I spoke to them, they literally got it. And it's okay, Mr. Peterson. You're gonna be okay. We love you, Mr. Like
I love that because I was worried that you were gonna have some jerk of a kid be like,
exactly. Me too.
A wall, you know.
Me too. But I didn't.
That's amazing.
They were very, very helpful, and the only teachers that saw me were that one fourth grade teacher, and then it was the music teacher and the art teacher that knew. They already know what happens.
And they're there for you.
And they're there for me. So a combination of that and the students definitely helped me to get through it. But now it is happening so often. Now
more so, you think?
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
Well, it hasn't happened this year yet because of COVID.
Yeah.
But ever since that first incident, there's been like 3 or 4 incidents afterward. Actually, it did happen with the fire drill. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, but I was a pre-K kid, so they really
didn't.
Yeah, but they didn't really like
What up, grown people? If you enjoyed that clip, feel free to watch the full episode by clicking right here, or you can watch another one by clicking over here. Your choice. But if you did enjoy it, please hit that thumbs up, like, share, subscribe, and all of the things because it really does help this channel grow. Until next time, peace. Now, where's my son? Okay.